Guys, in the year wearing clothes that'll give you the confidence to tackle those 2023 resolutions. Our sponsor, True Classic, has designed t-shirts to make fellas of all sizes out there feel confident in their clothing. They have already helped over 2 million men look great in their tees, and now for a limited time only, you can get 25% off with the promo code Chael at trueclassic.com. These incredible tees taper off towards the bottom, but fit tighter around the chest and shoulders. This flattering look can also be achieved by every body type. True Classic offers a 100% risk-free guarantee with a 30-day return policy. With over 200,000 five-star reviews, it's no wonder these t-shirts are such a hit. Again, guys, get 25% off at trueclassic.com when you use the promo code Chael. Plus, free shipping is included with purchases over $100. New year, new me, and new tees thanks to True Classic. Daniel Cormier had some advice for Paulo Costa. And Daniel reminded of this, but let me remind you guys, Paulo Costa has one fight left on his UFC contract. So Daniel's advice to Paulo was, hey, try to get Chimaev. Use that last bullet, get Chimaev. Beat Chimaev. And now when you're sitting across the table, you'll be in a very good position. You'll have some power. Now, if I was to agree with Daniel, I wouldn't have anything to talk to you guys about. So let's just look at this maybe from the other side. And whoever you're going to put opposite Paulo Costa, you have to ask yourself, and you have to be able to answer yes to the following question, which is that opponent, that unnamed opponent, an easier fight than Robert Whittaker? The answer has to be yes. Or it's not great advice to tell Paulo to take him. And don't forget, guys, he turned down Paulo. Or I apologize, he turned down Robert Whittaker. This whole contract thing was about, hey, look, that's a hard fight. This is my last fight. I'm not going to do it on these numbers. Paulo didn't have the world's worst case. He just had a redundant case that we've seen many times. And you could go over the history of the organization. You will find some outliers that win that game. I hope that Paulo wins it. If you want to know my personal. But you do understand the situation, right? If the UFC isn't coming in to renegotiate a contract like he would like to do, if he was to exhaust his contract, well, sure they will. That's the game. Nobody's got a problem with that. That's the way this game is played. And in the meanwhile, he can also have a conversation with other people. So I'm just sharing with you, whoever you're going to bring in for Paulo next, if that's your idea, if that's your parity, and that's the matching that you're going to do, it has to be an easier fight than the one that he was already offered. And that's where this game gets a little bit fun. What do you think's an easier fight? And it's not asking you who's the better fighter. It's not asking you who would win between Chimaev and Robert Whittaker. And that's where your mind is going to go to try to answer this. Don't let your mind go there. You have to imagine that you're Paulo. You have to imagine that you have Paulo's skills, Paulo's strength, Paulo's power, Paulo's endurance. How would you do against Whittaker? How would you do against Chimaev? Which one is more favorable for that? And I think that we're kind of splitting hairs there. I think, as a matter of fact, the structure of the question that I just laid out for you is kind of a hard one to answer. Like, if you're leaning towards Chimaev, you're not bullish on that answer. Or if you're leaning towards Whittaker, you're not bullish on that answer. You see where it's a really hard fight. So if you're looking to exhaust that contract and get it done, you're going to be looking for the easiest fight that you can find. I just don't know that guy exists. I don't know what an easy fight is. I can't think of any of the top guys that are a walk in the park. They can all beat each other. It would just depend on the day. So Paulo has one other option. Now, I'm stating for you as fact what Paulo stated and my interpretation of it. But I think I've got it. Which, there's something in a UFC contract. This didn't exist when I was there. This is new. But it's called a sunset clause. And I've heard some guys throwing that term out, and it's 5 years. You go sign a deal and you got your exclusive negotiating period. You got however many fights and you got the win and the show and this many cornermen and the hotel. You got a standard contract, but no matter what, whether it's a 3-fight deal or a 30-fight deal, from the day you sign it, 5 years later, it is now done. No matter what's in there, no matter what confusion, what can be argued, what this lawyer could have this opinion and this guy could have this. And at 5 years, you're done. This is what people told me. So I called Malky. I said, Malk, I'm out. I never had one of these contracts. I'm hearing about the sunset clause. This is what I think it means. From the day you sign, 5 years later, no matter what, if you still owe fights or what, you're done. And he goes, yeah, you got it right. That's exactly what it is. Okay. So that would be the other option for Paulo. And I believe that that's very similar. I don't know that it's exact. I believe that that's very similar to what Francis did by sitting out since his last competition against Gone. He even said something about that. That was in like February of last year, right? Are you guys aware of that? About 10 months ago since we saw our heavyweight champion? About, it's off the top of my head. It could have been March, but you get my point. And he said, look, I'm going to try to get this thing worked out, but come December, I'm free. And I think he was talking about something like that. So I'm just sharing for you because we don't want to lose Paulo, right? We don't want to lose Francis. We want to go back and forth. We want to have some fun. We want to berate these guys. We want to try a few different emotions to get what we want, but we want those guys. Make no mistake. When a guy is called the Predator, you want that guy. When a guy tried to name himself the Eraser, and the industry came in and named him the Terminator, right? You want that guy. But you still got to get it worked out. So if you're in Paulo's spot, I'm just reminding you, I'm just setting the stage for you. Because Paulo, as Paulo's explained, and I'm repeating for you, has two ways to do it. He can take a fight, he's done. Or he can not take the fight and just wait out the clause, of which he said it's like early summer, guys. I want to say he said it was June. And I think that the smartest move, if it is in fact June, is to probably if you want to know the smartest move, it's to wait till June. If you're a prize fighter and you want to stay in the rankings, you want to pursue a dream, you got to get in there. But now you're in a situation when you said no to Whittaker, if you're going to say yes to somebody else, and that's the way you're going to exhaust the contract instead of running out the clock, if that's what your move is, then it would only make sense that whoever you do agree to is an easier fight than Whittaker. And I'm not sure when Daniel suggests Chimaev that Daniel meant it in that way, but possibly he did. Possibly Daniel just stated that his opinion is that Chimaev is not as tough as Robert Whittaker.